The importance and the significance of Women for Progress media is far reaching because it is the media that shapes narratives, it changes culture, it creates diversity, it brings from the shadows new, innovative voices. And what's really powerful is when the person telling the story is a part of your community. So we are empowered and transformed and changed in so many ways by what we hear. Do you know an informed people is a powerful people? And it's Women for Progress Media that's helping to empower people across the state of Mississippi and beyond with the dialogue and the discussions, the interviews, and the opportunities to hear new information, to digest new information, and to experience new ways of thinking.
Well, welcome to the Working Woman Report. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Look, I know every time I open up the Working Woman Report, I say this is I'm excited about our guest today because there are so many incredible women that I get the pleasure and the opportunity to be able to talk to, and more importantly, to share their information, their work with you. And of course, the mission and goals of the Working Woman Report is to highlight the work of women throughout the state of Mississippi. And now post-COVID, we're all over this country because we've been talking to women on the East Coast and all over because of these new platforms that allows us an opportunity to do that. And this conversation today, I only have a half hour with her, but we usually have a whole hour. When we talk to women, we got to have time, But I know she's going to come back and talk with us. So I want us to jump right into our conversation today. Today, we're talking workforce development, workforce opportunities. And this is a great opportunity. I want you all to share this particular link. Of course, we're live here on our Facebook page. You can get this programming also live on our YouTube channel. And of course, we want you to share it with everyone. And, you can go back to our Facebook page, go to videos and reshare it also. It's because good information becomes even better when it's shared. So that's what we want you to do with this particular programming. And thank you all so much for your support. So today I have with me Lindsey, I just tell you, I am so excited about the work that you do. Of course, we got connected around Next Gen Trucking. And we're going to talk a little bit about that down our conversation. But as I went to your LinkedIn page and it said you used the term workforce innovator, and I said, perfect, because that's who you are. That's what you are. That's this work for you is real innovative work that you have created around this particular topic, and we're excited to have you today. So I want for our audience to get a little bit of know about your background a little bit. Talk with us about, your passion for getting into the truck industry. What was the catalyst for you getting into this industry? And then also, what led you to even create Next Gen Trucking?
Yeah, thanks so much, Willie, for having me on. I'm excited to talk to all of your listeners. And really, I've been in the trucking industry 13 years. It's a great industry. The people are lovely. It's a really cool industry in that it hits every industry within one industry. And when I started off doing trucking, I was in driver staffing, and I loved it because one day I'd be at a steel plant. The next day I'd be at a food distributor. The next day it was a granite facility. And it was just really cool to be able to go to a lot of different industries within trucking. But one of the conversations that we always had was workforce and young people not knowing anything about the industry. We have an aging workforce. It's predominantly male, and there's just not a whole lot out there for young people to see opportunities and figure if, hey, maybe there's a job for me in this particular industry. And so we created the Next Generation in Trucking Association, and we've got really 4 main pillars now that we've developed over the last few years since we've launched. And that is, one, it's just raising awareness about careers in the trucking industry to students, but also to teachers and parents, those people who influence education, school counselors. And then another pillar is really working with schools, high schools, career tech ed centers to help them start programs, maybe supply chain programs, diesel mechanic, or CDL programs. And that's a really large focus of what we're doing, is trying to help schools start these programs to help their students get these credentials. And then third, it's really that employer piece, connecting the industry and education, and helping employers learn how to build their workforce with early talent development. And lastly, we added a new pillar, and that's recognizing accomplishments. And we have a Student of the Month program. We started a Next Top Talent. So people who work for companies that, yeah, doing a great job, and those people that are doing a great job that are under 30. And so those are some of the things that we're doing as a part of Next Gen Trucking, and we formed just because we saw the need.
Yeah. And you mentioned the career technical side. I think post-COVID, a lot of our young people are saying the 4-year, and we, of course, support education on every level. Every kid, every young person wants to go to a 4-year university. We champion that, and we want folks to be able to support that, provide opportunities. But a lot of our young people are saying, I'm not sure if the 4-year route is where I want to go. I want to take a year off and go to work. And not only young people are saying, I want to go to work, but I want to go to work where it pays me good pay. Mm-hmm. And I want to have what we call now good jobs. And that's what trucking provides, good jobs. And so these certification programs and technical career programs is a great pathway for those young people, right? And what are you finding in this now that you're heavily involved with schools and career technical centers? What has been some of the great outcomes, and also what has been some of the challenges?
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the great outcomes that we're seeing is that students are able to get a credential, and it's free for them. Mm-hmm. So they are in high school, and while they're in high school, the school district, or it comes from federal funding, will pay for them. And I mean, how much is it to get a CDL? Depending where you're at, it could be $3,000 to $5,000, maybe even more. And they don't necessarily have to pay for that if they're doing this as a part of their high school program. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing young people wanting to take advantage of being able to get these credentials that can help them go straight into work, or help them pay for college while they're going through college, but they're going to make more money, and it's in a high demand field. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times too, when you see somebody, say, for instance, having their CDL, and they're working to get their CDL, they've got their CDL, they're paying for their college. Well, maybe the company will help put some money towards that. And maybe they'll go into their full-time role after they get a college degree at that company, but they're building their career path within a company, starting off maybe on the dock, or maybe as a driver, in some of those more entry-level jobs.
And I think what's the most significant thing, people say, well, hey, can't they go to a truck driving school, or can they go to a community college and all this stuff? What the Next Gen initiative does is provide scholarships and like you said, free training. And also it begins inside the school where the student is. And I think that convenience of location is key to this also, because not only it's almost like tasting a meal. Well, I'm not sure if I like steak, but I can taste a little bit of it. So the Next Generation program provides that opportunity. I think that's the most key to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you've got students that are in a school, And they have choices. They want to take more English or history? There might be other career tech ed programs. They could be in the health industry or cosmetology, HVAC, welding. Well, we're trying to get schools to start these trucking programs and supply chain programs where students are able to go right into these career ready credentialing programs, and then hopefully go right into the workforce if that's what they choose. And so helping a school build a pathway for their students is so important. And young people, if they're not exposed to an industry, then they're not going to have that as an option. And so we need to, as industry people, get involved in our local schools and introduce them to our careers so that they can make an intelligent decision, an informed decision, if that is a good career fit for them. Because if they don't know anybody in the industry, if they haven't climbed into a truck, then they're not necessarily going to choose that as their career path. So we've got to get out there and really promote our own careers.
And what type of reception are you getting from high schools and for career technical centers? Have they been supportive of these initiatives? And how do they see this type of programming?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a long process when we start meeting with the school to discuss starting one of these programs. Depending on what's going on in their state, we might have to get an approved credential, like get a CDL or a supply chain credential on their credentialing list. And then from there, we've got to get the buy-in of maybe the school board. And then from there, we have to get students enrolled. But not just that, I mean, sometimes it can happen really quickly. I had a principal this summer call me, and she was really concerned because she was getting ready to lose 16 of her seniors.
Wow.
To another school in their district that had a CDL program. They were going to transfer schools their senior year just so they could get a CDL. And she said, I've got to start a program. I don't want to lose 16 of my seniors. And so she quickly was able to start a CDL program, hire a teacher, get a truck, get a driver simulator. It doesn't always happen that seamlessly and happen because she's, at school's losing all these students, but it can happen like that. And that was a fun scenario that we came across this year.
And we're of course in Mississippi, because of our partnership with you, have been able to do incredible things. And I just want to give you a pat on the back and thank you so much for support of DSE Training Academy, not only with supporting our work, making sure that our work gets exposure in Mississippi, but also helping us with curriculum building and connections and connecting with our local employers. You've just been extremely supportive, and it's been so essential. And even helping us out to communicate with local community colleges and CTE centers. It's great to be able to have your model to be able to make sure that our young people in the state of Mississippi get access to these opportunities. But we want to do more. We're going to be talking to some more career technical centers. We have now launched a campaign where we're actually sitting our program into communities, where we're reaching out to community centers and putting that programming, even if it's just the ELDT level, inside community programs, because that's where these young people sit and live, right? So some of them may even be able to walk down the street to a community center versus having to drive across town to some other type of building or some type of location that's beyond their particular community, because many of our communities in Mississippi are challenged. And so what we're trying to do at DSE Training Academy is to meet those challenges head on, and to be able to do that in an effective way, and also in collaboration with community. We are big on community development. We believe it's the key. Community development and workforce development goes hand in hand. If you're going to do workforce development well, you got to have that collaboration with community. And so we've been excited to be able to use that next gen programming and initiatives to be able to get that accomplished. I wanted to share also, just recently, last week, I got a call from one of our next gen graduates. Okay. When he went through our program, he was 19 years old, and we got him right out of not long after graduation from high school. He went through our program, worked a little bit locally until he turned 21. And he called me last week and said, "Hey, Miss Jones, I need to get a copy of my certificate because now I'm getting ready to go over the road." So, he's over 21 now, and he's ready to. I'm ready to hit the road, because we know in Mississippi you can't get out there doing interstate trucking until you turn 21. So he's out and about. But we've had so many students that we have graduated through our programming, and all of them are doing well. So a lot of times what I think early on people say, okay, we're talking about a kid that may be 18, 19 years old that's going to be driving 80,000 pounds or more. Can they really be safe drivers? Are these individuals that we really want in this particular workforce? Talk a little bit about, Lindsey, about the safety of these young folks and what we provide and what type of level of training and awareness that they get.
Yeah, so they go through a very extensive training program, and this isn't just any 18-year-old, because you might be sitting there and thinking, "Hey, I have an 18-year-old, or I had an 18-year-old once, and I would never want my 18-year-old driving a semi." And so you have to kind of change perspectives. It's really not any 18-year-old that says, "I'm identifying this as my career choice. I see all the benefits and the career aspirations I have about this job. I see the lifestyle, the money I can make, and I want to do this as my career. And so my goal is to do this as safe as possible." Your goal as a trainer is to help that student want to do this as safely as possible and teach them all of the right habits. And so we often find that these students are very focused on safety. They're trained in a great way so that they've already learned a lot of great safe habits, and they want to have a long career. And so training for these young people and letting them drive a semi, it's really not that they're not safe. They're very safe. And now too, technology in trucks is just like technology in cars. It's the collision avoidance, the lane mitigation, and there's a lot of technology too with inward facing cameras, outward facing cameras. You can detect if a driver starts to get tired. Commercial drivers, of course, aren't allowed to be on their cell phone. It's all hands free. And so they are being, a lot of trucks have in-cab technology where they can't get on their cell phone and bring it up to their ear. It's all hands free. And there is a lot of different technologies that really help promote safety for every driver that's out there in a CDL truck.
And we know also from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they have been very focused on making sure that they are launching policy that will help increase safety around these particular issues. I mean, not using your cell phone in your vehicle while you're driving, unless it's cordless. And so there's a lot of different safety issues on the hours of service to make sure you're not tired, around the medical issues, if you have issues or you're on certain type of medications. So there are a lot of rules and regulations and policies that have been put in place by our federal entity that manages and regulates trucking, to also be able to mitigate those particular situations too. So I want parents to understand, and that it's just and I tell young people too when they come in, is that everybody can't be a truck driver. And so when we sit them down for their interview, we're giving them the good, bad, and the ugly, even before they go into our program. Even though they may be on a scholarship or requesting a scholarship, we want them to understand all of those things, because trucking is a serious job. It's an essential job. I tell folks in the public is the truck driver is just as essential as your medical doctor. You cannot survive you got to have good health. You got to have all those things when it comes to a medical doctor. Truck drivers, everything that we touch at some point is going to hit that semi at some point. So we need good truck drivers. We need drivers that are going to be sustainable. We don't want those drivers when we can, not to be out there just for 3 months and say, hey, I'm going to test this thing out and I'm going to come back. But you got to take it seriously. We got to make a commitment. And the real opportunities, Lindsey, lie with those individuals who are willing to try it out long term. Mm-hmm. Because we know for the first 90 days, for the first 6 months, you are learning this industry. What you learn in that classroom and on that yard and on the road during your 4 or 5 week period, or how long that training program is, that's to get you prepared. That's learning you the basic skills. But when getting out there and learning how to talk to warehouse managers and dock managers, and how to talk to brokers if you have to, and all the other people along the way, even handling yourself and making sure that you understand how to get that load from point A to point B. A lot of it happens right on the ground when you're out there as a truck driver. And so we say to young people, because these days young people is like, my goodness, if you keep them 6 months in a job, and not even beyond trucking, is like, okay, I'm ready to get on to my next. But trucking is a serious, essential occupation. And we need individuals, if you want to get in it and you want to make the money and you want to have the life that you hear about on Facebook and YouTube and all those things, it requires longevity. It requires that particular commitment. And I know in our programming, we have our workforce skills program. A lot of people call it soft skills. We don't call it soft skills. We call it workforce survival skills. And we try to give them those young people that particular curriculum alongside the CDL program so that they can be better prepared for what they're going to expect out there. So tell us a little bit about the Next Gen program as you initially envision it, and how do you see it continue to evolve for the future?
Yeah. So, our focus really is to help schools start programs within trucking. And we have curriculum that we're helping schools with for supply chain and logistics. And that really isn't curriculum we own. It's just a set of credentials that other schools are using to help their students go through supply chain programs. A lot of the programs could be 2 years while they're in high school. For the CDL program, it's a senior level class. Ideally, they start learning in high school as a senior about being a driver. It's driver simulation training. It's those soft skills. I loved what you called it. Would you say it was like
workforce survival skills? Yeah.
Workforce survival skills. I love that, because it is so important in all of these industries to have these soft skills, these workforce survival skills. I love it. And so our program is teaching that. It's teaching leadership in motion. It's teaching, as a truck driver, it's easy to make bad health decisions. And so how do you stay healthy while you're on the road? And how do you exercise while you're on the road? And so then our program loves to partner with schools like yours to help that final push and that final behind the wheel training, getting them their CDL, getting them that certification so that they're ready to go to work. One of the really interesting things that we see is a lot of students, they've never left their state, and they get their CDL and they see all 48 states, and they come back at a certain point and saying, hey, I want to be a trainer, or I want to do a local job where I'm home every night. But I've spent several years seeing the entire country, and I've seen all of these things, which is a great experience for you to have while you're young, and you're getting paid for it. And it's a community. I feel like drivers, they're very accepting, and it's a community of people that they have a really strong skill set. they have a really strong mission in mind, and that's to help us bring the goods that they are delivering. And without them, we really couldn't survive as a nation. And so it is a very important job being a commercial driver, but there's a lot of benefits to it and it pays well.
Oh, yeah. And the opportunities that you said, the benefits, when we talk about the cost of healthcare now and affordable healthcare, trucking industry has probably some of the best insurance benefits and healthcare benefits probably in as employers across the country. So it's a great opportunity for that. I have a lot of my motor carrier partners who are paying for 4-year online degrees while their
Yeah.
truck driver's driving for them. I mean, my gosh. And this is not just some, when people say, when I tell them about the 4-year college opportunity and benefit that trucking companies are offering, they think it's some online ebook thing or whatever, but these are accredited universities and they get the choice. And it doesn't have to be in the trucking or logistics industry when the degree that you decide on. So while you shut down at 5 in the evening, and you can open up that laptop and do the courses and get you some rest, and you're back on the road the next day, and then next thing you know, you've gotten that degree that you've always wanted to have, and you don't have the cost of that degree. You don't have that debt behind it. So there's so many opportunities. Now we just have a couple more minutes, Lindsey. So I gotta dab. I'm a woman in the trucking industry, a non-traditional industry. You also have been a woman in this industry and have been at the table and behind the desk of so many different roles in this particular industry. So we as women have got to touch on women in this industry. And I am a huge champion, of getting more women in this industry, mainly because I am so interested in women's economic security.
Mhm.
And I know with all the research through the Department of Labor, and even just as we know in our profession as workforce developers, that when we put more money in the hands of women, they become economically secure, their families more healthily, they thrive. And when women thrive, communities thrive, our state economies thrive. So trucking and logistics provides that level of income that elevates it for women. So we have to make sure that we continue to share how these opportunities are and share with women what is the pathway to these non-traditional jobs. Because where men sit, that's where the money is, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I feel like I see more and more women on the road as I drive by, driving these big trucks. And I'm always so impressed with them. A lot of times they say to me, I was really intimidated and nervous, but once I got in there, I felt a lot more secure. So I think it's just a matter of women giving it a chance. If you are a woman and you'd rather have your computer screen actually be a window out into the world, maybe trucking is a good fit for you. If you're looking for a job where you can be a little bit more active out and about, maybe trucking is a good fit for you. It's not sitting behind a desk and taking orders from people. As a professional truck driver, you really are very independent, and there's a lot of responsibility that is given to you to deliver your load in a timely manner and to build relationships with those people you're delivering to. And so women do great at being professional drivers, and statistically they're safer. And so we need more women on the road. And like you said, it pays well. And it's a great way for a woman to provide for her family is through being a professional driver. And there's different statistics about how many women are on the road now. I think Women in Trucking says 12% of drivers are females. And let's get that number higher.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for adding that today, Lindsey. And thank you so much. We've been talking to Lindsey Trent. She's the founder of Next Generation in Trucking. She's a workforce innovator, and she's such a champion for young people and career technology. And so thank you so much, Lindsey, for sharing this time with us today. We again appreciate your support in the work that you do. Mississippi has benefited from your work, and you from way across the country, but your impact is felt right here in our state. We've been able to put our Next Gen program in Holmes County, in the Delta, here in Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital city of Mississippi. And our goal is to continue to do that and continue to evolve. And we just thank you so much for all that you have provided. It's been an amazing partnership, and we want to continue that partnership, and we look forward to grow, and we'll keep updating you. And we look to have you back again. Our 30 minutes, I told you, would just fly by.
Flies by.
This has been a great conversation. I do want to say for our listeners today, if you want to find out more about the Next Gen program right here in your state, is to reach out to dscworkforce.com, dscworkforce.com, and contact us. Parents, I'm saying to you, call us up, talk to us, let us share more information. And let me tell you how you can be helpful with this work to make sure we offer so many scholarships to young folk that they don't have to pay out of pocket to the schools, or we supplement that. And so this is a great opportunity. We want you to call on your high school and your career technical center and say, we want the Next Gen program in your academies, in your community centers. So reach out to that. And the great thing about that is most times when we place these careers and initiatives in those places, there is no cost to the school or to the Career Technical Center. It's just about them providing the space and the opportunity for us and the collaboration. So dscworkforce.com. Our office number is 601-351-5858, 601-351-5858. Of course, our Facebook page, DSC Training Academy. And just call if you have information. And I'm telling you, if you're a woman and you're looking for another great opportunity, you want to elevate your economic status. You want to also, a lot of these women are getting into these careers because I want to have freedom. I want to have freedom. And so trucking and transportation logistics can provide that. So reach out to us also. Now, we don't leave out the men. I know I'm an advocate for women. I talk a lot about that, but it's open. You male, female, young, as long as you're 18 or over, you can go through our CDL program. But we're teaching the younger ones, 16 to 21, through our Next Gen program. So reach out to us. We love to just even connect information. If you want us to come to be a speaker at your school, at your church, or your group, whatever we can do, we want to partner with you that. So this has been the Working Woman Report. My guest today has been Lindsey Trent, an amazing workforce innovator and CTE advocate. Thank you so much, Lindsey, for joining us, and you have a great, great, great week. Thank you.
The importance and the significance of Women for Progress media is far-reaching because it is the media that shapes narratives. It changes culture. It creates diversity. It brings from the shadows new, innovative voices. And what's really powerful is when the person telling the story is a part of your community. So we are empowered and transformed and changed in so many ways by what we hear. Do you know an informed people is a powerful people? And it's Women for Progress Media that's helping to empower people across the state of Mississippi and beyond with the dialogue and the discussions, the interviews, and the opportunities to hear new information, to digest new information, and to experience new ways of thinking.